from Tahoe, John Paul here, and thought I'd do a quick video about the coming fall season and the film I'm using. Just got some in, thought I'd show you what I've got. A lot of people are asking me about this. So I keep things really simple, guys. In the fall I'm shooting almost exclusively color film. I'm shooting a few different formats. I'm shooting 6 by 17 centimeter panoramic. I'm shooting 4 by 5 inch, 8 by 10 inch, and then I adapt my setup with 8 by 10 so I can shoot 4 by 10 panoramic. When I narrow it all down, I shoot 2 films. My primary film, the #1 film I shoot, is my Fuji Provia 100F color transparency film. 90% at least of my images are shot with this. The other film I carry is Kodak Ektar 100 color negative film, and let me share with you, I've got 6 by 17, I've got 4 by 5, I've got 8 by 10 in both flavors, and the important things to know. I carry not a big diversity of film because I like to keep things simple. I want to be familiar with what I use. I don't want to be second guessing things, and the only reason I carry 2 films instead of just 1 is because there are certain situations that my Provia 100F can't handle. Provia 100F has super fine grain. It's got much, I believe, more neutral yet still saturated colors than, say, Velvia, which is hard to get a hold of and more expensive. I think the Fuji 100 actually, with, I believe they're using T-cell technology for the grain structure, is actually a finer grain film than the Velvia 50 that everyone used to use and some people still do. And Velvia is a great film. Provia just suits what I like more. Provia has a beautiful ability to do very long exposures without bad color shifts or weird things happening. And when I say long exposures, I'm talking about minutes to hours. And that's a wonderful quality to have in a film. I expose my Provia, as most transparency film needs, relative to the highlights. So we expose for the highlights. The film wonderfully holds on to shadows. You can really pull detail out of there. I happen to use a cross-platform workflow, so I'm scanning my film and then working in a digital darkroom. And very rarely will I lose shadows in Provia when I expose it and then scan it. So Provia is my film of choice. I also love the fact that when you put a big transparency down on a light box, you see exactly what you have. There's no interpretation. What you see is what you get, just like on the ground glass, and I love that. Now, Kodak Ektar 100 color negative film. They claim it to be grain-free. It scans beautifully. You can really also do wonderful, huge prints with it, just like with Provia. Where it stands out in comparison to Provia is that it, as most negatives or print films, it doesn't lose highlights that easily. However, it's easy to lose the shadow. So many people I know go as far as exposing just for the shadows to make sure they get the detail in there, and they let the highlights fall where they may, really feeling that they can get as many as 13 to 15 stops of exposure latitude out of this film. Personally, I think that's pushing it. The methodology I use is to use my averaging as I do with my color transparency film as well. Meter on the shadow, meter on the highlight, get an average, and then I look at the difference between highlight and shadow, the number of stops. And if I'm beyond 5 stops, I really start erring strongly on the side of exposing for the shadows, and I hope that the negative film will hold on to those highlights that may be 1 or 2 or even 3 or 4 stops overexposed, but always work toward the shadows when metering and exposing this. But given that, the Provia, the transparency film, I trust for a 5-stop range. If I'm beyond that, I will go to my negative film, my Ektar 100, to try to hold everything in there. And that's going to be a situation in the fall coming up here where perhaps I've got backlit aspen trees, that sort of thing, or I'm in a canyon and light is hitting part of a colored wall or part of a bush. I will meter on the scene, average it as I normally would, and I'll err on the side of the shadows for my exposure, and I will hope and expect that the color print film or negative film will hold on to those bright spots in the sky or the bright backlit leaves at the top of a tree, all the background stuff, that it would be a luxury to hang on to those, and just brings the quality of that shot a little bit further up. So, once again, I carry 2 films. Provia 100, Ektar 100. Provia is my go-to film. I love it. Ektar, it's my backup for when I don't think the transparency film can cover the entire range. I hope you find this helpful. I'm looking forward to the fall season. Hey, if you like this, please go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe so you don't miss anything, share with other people that might like this, and I've got a bunch of helpful links below for my blog, for my Fine Art of Nature newsletter, various courses that I'm going to be bringing out. Leave some comments below. I'd love to hear what you have to say, and I'd love to hear what you would like me to share with you. So, happy shooting, guys. Get out there, enjoy the season. I look forward to sharing it with you.